boom. We gotta go live. Sharmila. How's that? Oh, that's good.
Is that all right?
That's perfect.
Good.
You look great.
Oh, thank you, Sam.
Hey, see, obviously, for example, I don't obviously, unfortunately, get to speak to you on a regular basis, but you look great.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I've got really, I don't know if it's small ears or big ears, but these headphones don't seem to sit in my ears very well. They keep popping out.
Go get some duct tape. I think that would do it.
I'll just hold them.
Just go get a hat, put a hat on, and just hold them in place.
I'll go like this.
Just stay that
How
up
are
the
you?
whole time. I'm all right, you know me.
Yeah.
Each
So
day is obviously
you're looking out for days out?
days out, yeah. Days out, yeah. But obviously it's all lastminute.com. So
Yeah.
we'll see what comes around. I think we're gonna. I think we're kitchen, and then from there probably delve into a park or something.
Nice. Beaver Castle's just down the road. God, look at you. You're terrible, aren't you?
She's probably.
No.
Good. But yeah, well, I'll come up with something, and then we'll obviously go from there. What are you doing?
We've kind of discovered life beyond where we locked down. So probably going to Thrusington and take a walk around the green, and there's a long road, which is like another 2-mile stretch once we get there. It's beautiful. It's just absolutely beautiful. So, and it, all in all, it's about an 8-mile walk. So, and the days when I don't do walks. And what?
That's what I was about to bring up. The days where you used to say that, I used to remember in the gym. But don't worry, because we're going to talk about that gym, because we had some like nice conversations in the gym, so it's going to be important. So,
yeah,
right, let's get shot on the road. Right, guys. So we have Sharmila. Sharmila joined UFIT in 2019, November 2019, I believe. Did you hear that,
right,
Sharmila?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So Sharmila, can you remember what we'll do? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 questions. Right? All 17 questions, interestingly enough, evolve around how you started, how you found it, who was your biggest obstacle, and that may be yourself, it may be me, right? So we'll see. But basically, can you share with it? Do you know how much you've lost so far?
It's approximately 2 stones.
2 stones. I'm just going to for you because I've got all your results here right in front of me, which is really nice to see.
Oh, have you? Have you now?
Yeah. So yeah, 28 pounds.
Wow. Yeah.
Boom. Right.
Boom.
There you go. But basically, what the interesting thing is, do you remember actually coming to the studio? Because actually, I'm going to be honest. Obviously it feels like a long time ago, but it's not. To be fair, it's not really that long, is it? It feels like it starts when we locked down. It's not. It's interesting because it's obviously.
Yeah.
Think about it. November, December, January, February, March, 5 months. But then obviously for a lot of the duration now, it's been been doing it yourself. But do you remember what made you reach out to UFIT? What was it?
Members UFIT heading up. I never saw that. One thing I did see was a story from one of the UFIT members, and it only just occurred to me about 2 days ago who it was, and there was like a time after, and it turns out it was Hanney. Chudasama.
Oh,
And I
nice.
saw that
Yeah.
picture and I thought to myself, and I saw her journey and I thought, wow, that I want that to be me. But on top of all of that, there was lots of things going on. I mean, I just turned 50. Actually, I just turned 51. And I used to keep making excuses around why I was the size. Oh, it's the menopause. It's not what I eat. It's you know, and people used to say to me, especially at work, they used to say, "Oh, go on, Sham, you can do this. You've been there." But we're usually quick fixes, things like lighter life,
Great
and that's what
diet.
it. But it worked for a short period, and then as soon as you stop, you pile it back on. And it wasn't through nutrition and exercise. And I was always looking for quick fixes. And it kind of got to a point where, like I said, I kept making excuses for myself. And for someone who's a vegetarian, never ate vegetables, you know, it
Oh,
was. It,
is that where it comes
remember?
from? No, is that where it comes from? Is that where your daughters comes from? Who don't eat vegetables?
Right, let's get this back on track.
No.
I used to feed her vegetables, so she grew up and made up her own mind that she didn't want to. Yeah, so it kind of got to a point where I used to pain in my knees and, constant lethargy, not wanting to go out, not wanting to do, always making excuses. And I thought, I can't carry on like this. I'm 50 and I haven't, there's more years behind me than there is ahead of me. And I need to get to a point where I'm fit enough to be able to do the things that I want to do and stop making excuses and put things off. And on top of that, we'd been away on a few holidays. So the kids growing up, they'd moved away. Well, one of them had. And it got to a point where we'd go on holiday, and you ask Ajay this, we would walk around a couple of hours, and I'm going, oh, I want to sit down, and come about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'll say, oh, should we head back to the hotel for a snooze? Because I was tired, and we
Yeah,
went to New York for my 50th, and we were in bed for 9 o'clock, every night, not seeing the shows, not seeing the nightlife. But that's because I was always tired, and I thought, I can't carry on like this because I want to go on more holidays. I want to enjoy myself. So yeah, it came a point where I felt I had to do something. We spoke about this, and I think I'd made a phone call to UFit and kind of asked for programs and prices. And I said to AJ, what do I do? You need to be fit. He says, if you need to make cutbacks in other areas, that's what you need to do. But your health is your wealth. So he says, you can't put, and he's always been very much the one pushing me, saying, you need to do this. And he, but people say, oh, he's a bit harsh on you, but he wasn't. He was doing it for the right reasons.
yeah.
So he never flowers things up, for the sake of it. So yeah. So that's when I reached out to you, because it kind of became, everything was an excuse.
That's a good man. That's a sign of a good man.
Do you reckon? Yeah.
Mate.
When you say, does my bum look big in this? He'll say yes.
Yeah, but the next question is, yeah, he probably says yes, but then you don't go, next question is, do you love it? That's what you got to follow with next.
He'll say no.
Nah, I bet he won't. So in terms of obviously the biggest thing for you, going back to what you said about steps and stuff, because obviously one of the big things for yourself, I remember when we sat down actually, when you talked about that, obviously your family went to play badminton and did walking and stuff like that. That weren't really your forte, was it?
No. So, I mean, Ajay's always been one of these people that just gets up and goes out for a walk, and he'd always say, come and walk with me. And I'm not interested. I've got fallen arches, my feet hurt, my back hurts, and my hip hurts. And no, I'd rather do other things, but then other things never really happened. He used to play badminton every Wednesday with the family, and I was the only one that never went. So yeah, only because everything was an absolute chore, whether it be exercise or just walking. Even parking in the car park at work and walking across, probably about less than 500 yards, and I'd be like out of breath. But again, I kept making excuses and kept saying it was the menopause and it's just a sign of getting old, but it wasn't, because when you look back, it was only about 6-7 months ago, and look at me now, doing 8-mile walks and not thinking twice about it.
And what else? Remember, you got a bike now as well.
Oh gosh, yeah. We during lockdown, I used to see, we would go for walks and I'd see people speeding past, and I think I want to be one of them. So we went out and bought a bike, and it's been really good. We go out on it most days. So yeah,
That's good, isn't it? It's good that you obviously, like you said, if you look, the interesting fact would be if you look back and go, okay, in this short period of time, I've achieved X.
yes.
But actually look at all the previous time I've wasted, and that's probably like you said. A lot of clients I meet who are in that 50 bracket. The one of the statements what you said, obviously you got less time in front of you than you had more time backwards, right?
Yeah.
And I'm probably using that as a big catalyst. And obviously going to New York was probably one of your biggest, because one of your biggest reasons for joining, if I remember correctly, obviously you was planning to go
Again,
New York, weren't you?
Yeah. So for Aj's 55th birthday, I mean, you don't need an excuse. We just said, oh, it's for this birthday and it's for that birthday, but we just wanted to go back. And I thought I'll surprise him. And I thought, gosh, he wanted to do so much more when we got there. And I kind of put blockers on him the first time round. Like I said, it was always excuses. And I thought, poor guy, he wanted to see Brooklyn Bridge and he wanted to, do so much more. Let's go back and do it. But I don't want there to be the same barriers that there were last time. Keep stopping off, keep going back to the hotel for a snooze, go to bed early. It's as ridiculous as it sounds. That's what we did. And I thought, I don't want it to be like that. So as soon as I booked the holiday in October, I think it was a week later, I thought, no, I've got 6 months to, because I remember saying to you, right, I'm about a size 22. I want to get to a size 16. So yeah, that was one of my other motivations.
Don't you worry, we can rebook New York in 2 years' time.
Yeah, it never happened. Yeah.
Don't worry, we can rebook it. That's the good thing about holidays. We can move them along.
Yes, we will.
In terms of obviously with yourself then coming to the studio, how did you feel when you first obviously session? Did you feel obviously, because a lot of people typically feel like nervous, overwhelmed, don't know what to do, don't know what to expect. How did you feel on your first session?
First, not the first chat, but the first session.
Well, you could do the first chat. Was I a lovely guy? Was I a lovely guy?
You were lovely. Actually, so the chat I had with you, I think I pretty much signed up straight away. There was no hesitation, because Ajay and I had the conversation prior about cost and affordability and the rest of it. And like you said, you can't put a price on your health. And also the other thing I did was I did do my research. I went onto the website and I looked at all the progress and their journeys, and it was just like wow every single time. So there was no hesitation. So that was the first step. The second step was meeting Helen. So Helen being my coach now, and going through measurements, photos, nutrition. And I remember Helen saying, okay, what do you eat? And I said, I'm a vegetarian. She goes, what do you eat? And it was everything brown: pasta, pizza, potatoes, every carb. She goes, do you eat any vegetables? And I was, no. So do you eat any fruit? No. So I was like, yes, but I stay under these calories, and this is what I follow. And my nutrition was completely off point, completely. And it's not like I didn't know what to do, because like I said, I've done things like Weight Watchers, but I just needed to get back on that track again.
How did you feel it went to that? How did it get to that? Was you like self-sabotaging? What would you say from where you were before 50?
Yeah.
How was it before? Was you just eating, or what was it? Was it a holidays?
No.
How would you say you gained all the weight? Yeah.
So I think I started gaining weight probably from about 43 onwards.
Okay.
I mean, I'd say that I'd always had a weight problem, but it was never as drastic as it has been in the last 5 years, 5, 6 years. So it's probably started about 42, 43. And I think it was a lot of it was to do with my role, my job. It was a lot of
Okay.
traveling, and it was always quick fixes. So it's easy just to put some pasta on, and it's just easy just to get a pizza or stick a potato in the oven and not think about having real prep time and thinking about what and laziness, I think, more than anything, in actually planning what I needed to work food wise. It was just very quick jobs kind of around the house. I remember saying to AJ, we need to think about what we eat and how we plan our food. Sometimes it was easy just to make kind of a big bowl of pasta for the kids, and at the time I used to think, oh, pasta's healthy, but then it would be a massive bowl of pasta and the sauces and everything else, not thinking about it. I think that it was laziness, Sam, just pure laziness.
It's
But I
interesting
just
because the
needed
thing is,
somebody back on the right.
a lot of people fall into that though, because obviously when you're bizarre, because naturally we go to that state of what's convenient. But the challenge with that state of what's
Yeah,
convenient is the state of what's convenient is actually what slows us down in the long term. So in the short
it
term,
does.
it fills that gap. But the problem is, if that manifests in about probably 3 months' time, it starts to slow you down because you start to gain
Yeah,
weight. When you start to gain weight,
yeah,
you start to not like the way you feel. When you start
yeah,
not like the way you feel, you start to do it
mm,
more often. When you start to do it
yeah,
more often, it ends up being a way of life,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And obviously, probably for yourself, like you said, the biggest catalyst for you was probably New York, one of the
yeah,
biggest, right?
yeah,
Even though you knew prior, the
yeah,
interesting thing is, even though you probably knew prior, the New York thing was really big for you, but
mm,
also obviously the interesting thing is your discussion with Ajay,
mm,
because joining the gym or talking about finance when it comes to joining the gym, especially obviously
mm,
our gym. But
mm,
obviously having that conversation, having that support network is probably what you need, because obviously sometimes like it's really bizarre. I remember a conversation we had about your daughter and things like that. It's actually when you're close to home, you can't see it, but
mm,
also the people, like you said, Ajay's probably saying nice things and being supportive, but you're just not hearing it or just not
yeah,
listening, right?
yeah,
But it's only obviously
yeah,
till then you obviously met with Helen, then obviously start to actually have some accountability with that. In terms of obviously accountability
yeah.
to Helen, how did your accountability roll out? What was your starting phase of it? Because obviously I don't know your ins and out of your journey, but how did your journey start with from a food perspective?
Um, Honestly, it started straight away. For me, there wasn't an adjusting period where I know Helen said, look, you're not going to change everything straight away. But I did, because I knew I had to. And I suppose everyone's different and everyone's mindsets. And some people will be like, right, I need to cut this out and this is what I need to introduce first. But I literally just changed it completely. Because actually I knew that, if I wanted to eat Indian food, so going back to how we grew up, it was things like potato curry, chapatis, and rice. So you think about all the food groups there, it was carbs, carbs, and carbs, and it wasn't about dals, and it's just making sure that you maximise on your lentils for your protein, and do you know what I mean, and portion control. So it was learning about just making sure that it's not about having a big plate of piled on carbs, which is what I was used to. But yeah, that journey was pretty instant for me, changing, which is why I probably saw the results so quickly. I think I probably lost my first stone in the first month and a half, 2 months, I think.
Yeah,
And I suppose as soon as you start to lose that, you feel better, and that, it's things like at work, it was constant brain fog, and it was to do with your diet,
yeah, yeah.
your nutrition, not drinking enough water, and it was the whole package. Yeah, I think it was that journey was pretty instant for me. But going back to my first session at the gym, it was on a Saturday morning with Summit, and I thought, the first thing I said to Bav, I remember saying to Bav, is I want it to be the quietest time at the gym where there's not going to be anybody. And bearing in mind that I've not been to the gym for probably...
Always a good one. Give me a good statement. How many years you not been to the gym?
I'm trying to think. My kids were very young, and I must have been probably about 18 years. 18 years I've not been to a gym.
Wow, that's good though. Good for you.
Yeah, and so it was about people. In my head, I kept thinking, people are there watching me. I felt really kind of self-conscious. I've not had any gym gear. I remember thinking, gosh, what am I going to wear? Because once I put my first pair of whatever's on, am I going to look massive? What are people going to think? Anyway, it turned up, and it was 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning, and it was with Summit, and I felt so uncomfortable, but not because of anybody else, but because I think I finally realised what a state I was in, because I was out of breath, and I had to keep saying, slow down, because I don't think, I thought I was fitter than I was.
Yeah.
And I was awful. And I remember after the session, I ate and I drove home at 9 o'clock. I went upstairs, I went back to bed, and I cried. But I cried because I was angry at myself for letting myself get to that state.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, no, this is it. This is the start. There's no turning back now, and I've got to get on with this.
It's interesting. The thing is, that's actually brings a tear to me, actually, because you don't really, for example, I don't know that. I don't know, probably none of us really know that, unless Helen knows that really. But for example, none of us really really truly understand what it's like. Like I have an idea. I have an idea how it is for someone, or what they may feel or go through. But to physically, like you said, come into the gym, right, feel self-conscious to get that, but actually to go through it, then realize actually, put myself out of shape, and then actually to go home and actually sob about it. That's powerful, because obviously in two decisions, then you could have went, I'm not going back, or I'm going to continue, which in your case you continued, right? But it's just fascinating to understand, because that's things like I've never heard, so actually it's quite powerful. So, and I bet a lot of other women do the same thing.
Yeah.
So then, if you move on, then when was your next session then? Who was it with?
I think it was on a Tuesday, and I think it might have been with Summit again.
Let's skip Summit then. Let's go to Helen. Then
Helen.
I want to go to me.
and then I think the next one was with Helen. And actually, it was really good, because I think with Helen, I think she had the knee problem and fallen arches, etc. And she worked around them, and it was actually, it got better. And actually, surprisingly, it got better really quickly, because I thought it would take weeks and weeks, but I think within probably 2 to 3 sessions, I felt a lot better. And I suppose it's because I knew what I was. And the thing for me was, being at previous gyms in the past, it was you're going and you're pretty much left to it. You never see anyone at a gym, as in personal trainers. Or if you do, they're kind of floating around. Nobody's kind of paying attention. So even on the days where it was going solo for your session, there'd always be somebody there watching you, making sure that you were, you're following your program. You could always ask questions. And the fact that there was always somebody there, whether it was yourself, whether it was Helen, and there was no messing either. If you saw me slack, if either you or Helen saw me slack, you'd be pushing me, saying, "Come on, you can do better."
The thing is with yourself, because obviously you came in, because what I can remember, you came in quite rapidly by yourself, didn't you?
I did,
hold back. You just,
no.
You just kept coming in.
No. In my head, I thought, yeah. I just thought, there's no point. I've made this decision now. I can take it slowly. or I can just get on with it. And so I think I used to do 4 to 5 days a week.
Yeah.
But that's the only reason I did that was because I knew that I had that support at the gym. So even if it wasn't you guys, there'd be somebody, one of the UFit family would be there, just kind of always coaching you on and saying you're doing really well, and that really helps as well, because once you start to make those connections and those friendships, you'll always get people kind of nudging you in the right direction, saying, "Gosh, you can really tell a difference," because people can see that. Sometimes you can't see it, but others can, and that makes a massive difference.
That's because naturally what we're looking at, what happens to when you're on a journey of change, you're always focused on the end result. So therefore you don't really, you have your blinkers on as you go through the journey, because all you're focused on the end result. But sometimes to get a praise or get congratulations that you're moving forward is always important, but always sometimes obviously missed. But obviously then we got to my session. How was my session?
I think I've only had I had a session with you, Sam.
Let's just back up. How long have you been at the studio? November, December, January,
it's November.
February. Let's just say 5 months when it was open, right? How many sessions did you have with me?
Yeah. Well, yeah, but there's a reason for that, because I used to watch you with audience. You scared the pants off me.
All I remember is
I just remember you used to like.
Bab, who's that session with? Sam, no, can we change it? Sam, who's that session with? Can we change it?
Yeah. That's right. And I used to think, Sam's not going to take any of this. And I remember I bought myself iPhone watch. I thought, what do you call them?
Oh, iPhone. Yeah, I watch.
Just to, just to kind of track my progress and see how I was doing. And I remember you wouldn't let me out until I'd done at least 700, 800 calories. And every time I said 600, you'd add another 200 on. And my hour would be up and you'd go, no, another 200 calories. So it was massive, massive calorie burners. And it was brilliant. It was really good. And I suppose the other thing that I really like and I really get a buzz out of is that as soon as there's a program change, it absolutely, I get on a high with that. It's brilliant because you're trying different things all the time. And again, that's something else that, I've never been used to, because, we went away, Ajay and I went away in January to Glen Eagles for a short break. And I think we spoke, and they've got a gym there. And I thought, right, I know the program, my current program. If the gym has got a have, we'll do the workouts and we'll go every day. And do you know what, Sam? We didn't. It had everything there, but because it wasn't the environment that I was used to, and I know that you're not watching me or Helen's not watching me. I was just like, just do some weights and walk out 10 minutes later, So I think just knowing that you guys are always there to help and push and motivate more than anything. I know I couldn't go into any other gym and do what I do at UFit.
Don't worry, because we've made your programs electronic now, so when you go away, we can see if you do it.
Yeah.
So that'll be. In terms of obviously, one of the questions I have is because obviously, remember, because how would you describe yourself? Would you describe yourself someone who's still on a journey, or you're close to finishing your goals, or where would you describe yourself?
No, I think it's just the start of the journey, Sam. I know that if I look back to when I joined and I said I wanted size 16, I am size 16 now. And in my head, that would have been the end of my journey 6 months ago. But I'm not happy. I'm happy that I've got that this is the end result. And Helen and I were talking about this the other day. And she says, she was saying it's small steps, and it's going to be a long journey. It's things like I've not, you talk a lot about meditation. Helen talks a lot about meditation. I've not even got there yet because you know, I'm still working on my food and nutrition. Don't get me wrong, you know, I think all that will come, but I think I'm still at that beginning of that journey.
That's fine though, because that's what people get confused with. Like things, people see a mountain and think they have to do meditation, and then basically what happens is you scare yourself off the mountain.
Yeah.
Because, for example, like you have to be
Yeah.
ready to absorb into that. You have to be ready to immerse yourself into that. Like, remember, the thing is with your journey, fat loss is
Yeah.
still is the be all and end all. Don't get me wrong. Going from 100 to where you are
Yeah.
now, you've changed mentally, right? Without meditation whatsoever. So that's not to say going from where
Yeah.
you are now to losing another 2 stone, you need meditation. That's not to say that either, right? But when you get to the end of it,
Yeah.
though, you may
Yeah.
want to do it, but that's something you can choose to
Yeah.
do, and that's something
Yeah.
a lot of people who are watching, you take note of that. It's not a case saying meditation is the be all and end all. Everyone has to do it. It has its place, but it only has its place, right? Which is a good thing. But in terms of obviously your hiccups, then, because obviously remember everyone likes a story. What do you think your biggest challenges have been?
I think lockdown has been a real challenge for me. I think initially I
Okay.
started to lose quite a bit of weight, purely because of the stress with work, and it kind of got a bit comfortable, just sitting at my desk all day, no movement. Whereas in the office, you're kind of just out and about, walking, and you know, in and out of meetings. But all your meetings are up on your laptop. There was literally no movement from 8 o'clock, 6 o'clock at night. And then it was like, right, I need to cook. And again, them excuses started to come. You know, I ain't got time to go out for a walk. I haven't got time to, you know. And then I think I kind of remained stable for a few weeks. And that's when I kicked myself because, you know, I have my own kind of battle, you know, demons in my head
Yeah.
thinking, I need to get on with this. And it's easy. Sometimes, you know, you think that you're doing the right thing, and it's easy to kind of get back into the old habits of, oh, it's just a glass of wine, or it's, you know, a bowl, you know, not prepping enough. So it was those kind of battles that I started to have. But I think I've turned that corner. I mean, it didn't last very long. But yeah, I think I've turned that corner and back on it again because, you know, I've had to readjust with lockdown and know where I need to be and what I need to do to get back on that track because I haven't got the gym. I need to be a bit like Sniff, as Helen would say. Yeah, and I'm trying to find my cheese. For those that don't know about this, finding cheese, it's like, you know, finding your own, you know, your own path and that motivation again.
Of course, that's the biggest thing, right? In lockdown, it's a
Yeah.
case of, for example, like you said, mentioned it. It's a different things have changed, circumstances, scenarios have all changed, but it's about how you find your own way again, but
Yeah.
allowing yourself to find their own way.
Yeah.
Probably the biggest thing for yourself, though, I can imagine, is probably also having a support network at home. Would you agree?
Yeah, it's yeah, absolutely. It's brilliant because so as you know, Misha's with the gym. Ajay joined, I think it's in January. You know, I think one of the reasons they both joined, or the only reason they both joined, is they saw the drastic change in me, and you know, and very quickly. And it was funny because all these years I've kind of to watch what I eat. Forget the last 5, but you know, most of my life I've always been careful. And every time I've been on a health kick, I'd say to Ajay, "Come on, you know, get on this with me." He'd be like, "I don't need to lose weight. There's nothing on me." And I remember I said to him, I think it'd be really good for you because it's not just about losing weight, it's about, you know, the nutrition and strength training. And he joined and he said, "Oh, Sam says I need to lose some weight." And I don't think he realised he needed to. So anyway, going off there a bit, but so, yeah, the support network. So I've constantly got Ajay and Misha saying, "Right, let's go out for a walk. let's do this. Make sure we're eating the right foods, and we probably eat more together now with Misha than we've ever eaten.
Oh wow.
Home cooked foods. Don't get me wrong. We all have our blips, but all in all, we eat really healthily. We all make sure that there's constant plans in the week to get out and do our walks, do our cycling. Yeah, it's good.
You got all the gear. You got all the gear as well, the hat and the armbands and all that
No, what gear?
for the bike.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. No, I haven't got
Oh, yeah.
armbands. I've got my hat. Yeah. I've got my
Mate,
hat.
trust me,
But that's about it.
you should buy all the kit. It'll look, and then take a picture. I'd love it.
Everyone keeps saying that. I want to see you on a bike. No one's going to see me on a bike.
Mate, I'm gonna come to your house.
Literally, Sam, I'm chugging away. I'm literally chugging away on this bike, and AJ's whistling, and I'll say, "What's your heart rate?" And he's going like this, 62, and I'm like, "Mine's 162." So yeah, shows how unfit I am.
That's fine.
He's horizontal when he's.
Pardon? What did you say?
I said he's horizontal when he's cycling. Ajay, he's horizontal.
That's because he's in a different place. The thing is that with yourself, it's like you said.
You know what he says?
Journey, what?
Yeah, he says he's an athlete. That's why.
Trust me, I'd agree with him. Because the thing is, everyone's got an inner athlete. Everyone's got something, whether it is when you're right and you did it when you was 10 years old. Everyone's got something they like. What was yours?
I used to be a gymnast, Sam.
Yeah.
I used to be a gymnast. I used to train at level. Until the age of 12. Yeah. And now look.
Yeah. So there you go. So therefore, it's not about that happened to you. It's about actually embracing that there's an inner athlete in you, and you want to actually rekindle that. Because if you can rekindle the inner athlete in you in another 6 months' time, because like I said, how far you've come, considering we've been in lockdown for 3 months and where you've come, but considering where you got to before lockdown, if you imagine that again, you're going to be in a superb place. But actually, you'll be closer to your inner athlete, because the closer you become to your inner athlete, the more you'll push.
Yes.
Because then you start to think, like you said, it's that if you look, isn't an athlete. I'm not going to go badminton. I'm not going to go walking. I don't want to do any of that, right? And an athlete now is, can we go walking? Oh, can we buy a bike? But they're just stepping stones, right? But imagine then in a couple of months' time where you go, can we do something else? Can we do something else? Can we do something else?
Yeah.
The biggest thing what I found when I talk to people who lost a lot of weight and reached their goals is the door that it opens. Because the door that it opens is a door that you never thought you could achieve in your older age. But then when you open that door and realize you can do X, Y, and Z, that's when you really hit the nail on the head about what you wanted to achieve.
Yeah.
So, New York, we definitely rebook in New York.
We are, definitely.
And I'll
that's
come as well.
Another goal. Yeah, no.
I'll be making sure you cycle around New York.
And that was the other thing. I remember him saying it when we went to New York first time. Let's cycle around Central Park. And I was like, no, I don't do cycles. But I will the next time.
You must be a hard woman to live with.
Honestly, Sam, I remember, and I shouldn't really share this, and he'll probably kill me for sharing this, but we were walking around Central Park first time round, and we life, future, and how I wanted to retire, and it'd be nice if I could retire early. And he said, I don't want to retire early. And I said, why? That's not nice. You don't want to spend time with me. And he said, I'll be out and about all the time, going for my walks. And because in his head, he just wants to keep fit and go out. And he says, you'll just want to stay at home. So what's the point of retiring? And we had quite a big powwow during that Central Park walk because of my mindset at the time. So, yeah. Sorry, Ad,
The interest, yeah,
for sharing that.
the interest. No, that's good though, because the interesting thing is, you thought he attacked you, but he wasn't attacking you, right? But
I
you
did,
assumed
yeah.
you assumed he was attacking you, but actually all he was saying is that sit on with your traits at the minute, you're going to retire, because at the minute, the reason why people say
Yeah,
retirement in probably the same vein you said it, because you like, I'm tired. I'm tired. I said it's the same mentality
yeah,
that people have towards
yeah,
holiday. It's the same mentality people have towards holidays. Oh, I need a
yes,
holiday. I
yes,
need a holiday. It's been a
yeah,
hard flight. I need a holiday. And actually, the
yeah,
problem is with that, it's the same mentality
yeah,
towards what you probably had back then, which is actually, if
yeah,
you work on yourself, do all the other things, then you actually probably won't need a holiday.
mm,
And then you actually holiday.
yeah,
But at least
yeah,
obviously now, at least now when you retire, at least obviously you can be active.
yeah, yeah, we will be, definitely.
Ajay's got 2 kilograms to lose, so he's watching this and he's put his finger out.
Has he? 2 kilograms? I thought he'd reached it.
BS. No, he goes up and down now. Okay, I know he's watching, so that's the best thing about it. If you
Yeah.
if you was on the fence, like say for example, someone's on the fence about joining UFIT, what would your advice be to them? Because typically some people's advice is just go ahead and do it, but what would yours be? Is it the same sort of thing, or?
Yeah. Do you know, I suppose if you're thinking of joining UFIT, you'd have probably been to other gyms. And if you've been to other gyms, you'll know that it's, trainer, or it was just kind of flying solo. You have to find your kind of own motivation. Joining UFIT, yes, you have to have your own motivation, but you've got a massive, massive support network. Not just, like I said before, not just the coaches, not just Sam, but the family around you. And we talked about family a lot when we first joined, the UFIT family. But I suppose you don't know the UFIT family until you're actually with UFIT. You have your regulars, because I know that you have people coming in the mornings that I'll probably never ever meet, or in the day, and then you got this in the evening, and the people that you kind of see and meet in the evenings every time, they're the people that keep you going. And sometimes if you want to reach out to, it's just completely different from any other gym. The fact that your programs are all tailored to you specifically, they change constantly, you're constantly pushed, within your own limits as well, obviously. I couldn't say anything bad about the gym at all. Constant motivation, it's brilliant. Yeah. And going back to Misha as well, I remember talking to you about Misha, and she'd spoken to me and said, oh, maybe I want to join the gym. And I was like, no, it's not for you at the time, because I thought I knew my daughter wouldn't. And I remember you saying, well, tell her to come in and have a chat. And then before I knew it, she'd signed up, and she rolled into it straight away as well. She was at the gym, she wanted to come twice a day, Sam, do you remember? She wanted to do 2 Met classes a day. So yeah, it's definitely one where you've got the coaches and other members, and I've never known that anywhere else.
It's interesting. Like I remember that. I literally remember that conversation because we had it on the Watt bike.
That's right. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, we had it on the Watt bike, and I challenged you hard, and then you
Yes. Yeah, and you said, why are you making her decisions for her? Yeah. And I think if you look at her now, so no, I shouldn't really explain her own journey. Long way. And when did she join? Was it not February, end of Feb? She was only there about a month before lockdown.
Yeah. And that's obviously she'll have a different show. She's done really well in herself, but it's but that's the beautiful thing, right? It's about as a family unit, understanding family united in terms of health. Right?
Yeah.
A lot of clients really say, "Oh, I wish I found UFIT earlier," but sometimes you could say that, but actually you won't. You probably wouldn't. It wouldn't have been the same experience because you probably wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have been, to be fair.
So in terms of obviously your day-to-day routine now, what does that look like? So obviously people understand, is it like you're waking up, do you go for a walk, do you go to your desk? How does it look now for your routine?
It's not how I'd like it. It's not brilliant. I'm not a morning person, so my exercise tends to happen after.
Okay.
But what I do try to do is, yeah, I'll get up. I'll try and just kind of focus on what needs to happen for the day for work. What I do, and I've made it clear to my boss, is I never used to take lunches. And because what Ajay does is that's it, Dan's tools at lunchtime, and he goes out for a walk, literally, and he'll text me 5 minutes before, right, are you ready? Are you coming with me? And 9 times out of 10, I do. So we go for a walk, and I get 45 minutes. So we walk 20 minutes, and then we turn back, and that covers about 2 miles. So we do that in the afternoon. Come back, have a quick bite to eat, and then work through till probably about 5:30, and then we get on the bike, and then we go for an hour's bike ride. And he won't let me take the easiest route either. It's always he makes sure there's a hill, and I'm like literally chugging. So that's So then we go for a bike ride, come back, have a bite to eat, and then he'll go out for a run with Misha. If he's not gone out for a run with Misha, then me and him will go for another walk before we settle down for the evening. However, in the old days, it would have been get up, do my work through my lunch, cook, and sit down and watch telly for 4 hours in the evening. But
Did you learn much from Coronation Street?
sorry, say that again.
Did you learn much from watching Coronation Street?
I never used to watch Coronation Street. No.
What did you watch then?
But yeah, it used to just anything and everything. Just whatever was on. Sam, it used to be, oh, I need this downtime. It's just that, I've been working so hard today. I need some downtime.
I love that. I love
That's
that.
what it used to be.
I love that internal talk. I've had a hard day. Let's sit down.
Yeah, it wasn't just internal. It was saying it to him as well. And I think I've had a hard day.
It's interesting though because we catch 22 of that, and a lot of people do have that thought process, but it's only till till you get out and you do a bit of exercise, you realize how much it makes you feel fucking great. Like you feel much better for it. You feel alive. You feel like you've got fresh air. You feel like your lungs are opened up, regardless of the weather as well. It's like if it's raining, go for a walk. Right, it's only a bit of wet rain, but after it, you can't describe the feeling after it. And you can't. The fundamental is you can't buy that feeling either.
Yeah.
That you can't go to a shop and go, here's 20 quid, give me a bottle of that. You have to physically do the work in order to feel good, and in order to progress next day.
Yeah. I've never, and I have one now. So we've been walking out in the rain as well. Mate,
I want to see this new coat.
It's nothing major. It's just a light raincoat, but
I want to see this helmet come down here with your hair down here, and then I want to see the raincoat.
No, it's not going to happen.
You got more things than me. I ain't bought myself anything.
No, but it's good because dropping the dress sizes that I've dropped, I've been able to do some online shopping, and Ajay's always said to me, just remember the days when you used to be able to try things on that just fitted you, and you didn't always have that battle of having limited wardrobe and always wearing black, and I'm ordering things and I'm slipping into them, and it's brilliant. Didn't think I'd see that in a long time. And the other thing is, going back to one of the reasons why I wanted to join the gym is I remember going to the doctors, and I think it was about either my hip, it was one of my pains, And he said to me, well, these things start, you know, one of the things he says, when you're obese, and I think he must have said something like, you know, you're quite obese, and that really hit me. I knew I was big, I was obese. And then
Do you think that's true?
Said,
Just on that point.
What? Mm.
Do you
What's
think
true?
that's true? Like, do you think you didn't need to be told? Because in theory, like, if I was a doctor, I'd feel like I have to tell everyone, like, just lose weight, just lose weight, just lose weight. Because in theory, if you think about a lot of illnesses, what are generated, most of it is unfortunately down to weight.
Yeah. I mean, I knew that, but you just don't like hearing it, do you? Somebody else telling
True.
you. I think it's just human nature. And I think my doctors have told me that so often over the last few years. And one of the things he said is, he says there's a trigger, there's an age that things start going wrong, and that's 64. That age is generally 64, and that's when things start going wrong. And I thought to myself, well, I've got about 14, 15 years now, and I thought I haven't got long left, and you know, I need to make sure that I'm the best version of myself that I can be. So, you know, I want to look.
You want to look banging. You want to look banging. You want to look banging.
Oh, I wanted to look banging. Yeah. So
Ajay.
Yeah. He still won't drop me compliments unless it's absolutely necessary. But
he sounds literally like me.
Yeah, he probably is. He is, unless it's absolutely necessary. But
trust me,
yeah.
it took me 5 years to probably give Helen a compliment. So
really,
if
that's not nice.
If you ask Helen, yeah.
Well, Helen looks amazing.
The interesting thing is that I've never heard a doctor say that. It's quite a good statement, actually. Like, for people watching this, actually 64 is where most things go wrong, and it's probably when you don't really think of it, but actually when I think about it now, 64, yeah, because obviously if you become less fit, you probably enter retirement. Your blood sugar might be all over the place. You might have obviously inflammation of the joints, arthritis, and things like that. And actually, from 64 onwards, it can actually probably propel, can't it? It can actually probably dramatically improve quite rapidly.
Yeah, and I suppose that, you know, what's going to happen at 64? Most people retire at 64, and actually, what we're then saying is, do I want to get fit after I've retired, or do I want to do it leading up to retirement so I'm fit? And actually, you know, you think to yourself, you know, going back to the statement I made, you know, what have you got left in front of you than what you've had, you know, the life you've lived. And I want, you know, you want to be fit, and you want to continue to be fit, and just to, you know, not have your pains and the lethargy and the brain fog and everything else that goes with it. And I don't want to, you know, I remember somebody saying to me that I think it was my grandma saying to me, when you when you stand up from a meal, you should feel the same as you sat down. So almost saying that you shouldn't ever overeat.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, when you've eaten, you think, oh, I can't stand up, I'm too full, you know. And it's just getting back to that mentality of knowing when to stop and, you know, eating only what you need to eat.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah.
All the oldies knew it.
Yeah, they did. And, you know, even looking back at my mum, I know that she didn't always have the right food groups, you know, growing up, but, you know, she's very good in portion control. And when I watch her now, I just think, is that all you're eating? She's like, well, that's all I need. I don't need to eat anymore. But I don't know if that comes with age. So
I think it's one of them. I think it's natural to go with age to some degree, but at the same time, it's right. So yeah, it's good though. It's good that it's good that you went to your doctor.
Yes, yeah. He's not seen me again.
Yeah, trust me, you need to go back then. It'd be a good thing. In terms of obviously going to the doctor, because you got high blood pressure as well, right?
Yeah.
Do you know
I
what it
have.
was?
Yeah. I mean, even on tablets, Sam, I think when I came to the gym, it was still really high. It was something like 150 over 98.
Wow. So
And that
guys,
was with medication.
so anyone, oh yeah, okay. So one thing to recognize, right? If it's one, this is a quick one. If someone's on 150, right? Anything above 130, it's really classed as obviously going to high blood pressure state. Now, high blood pressure, if you're taking tablets and it's only coming down to 150, it means the body's under a lot of pressure. So for people watching this, if you have high blood pressure and your blood pressure is 150 and you're taking medication for that as well, your body is under an extreme amount of pressure to allow blood flow around the body. This is why the number one killer in the world is heart disease. Right? So where would you say your blood pressure is at now? Do you track it?
Yeah. So I checked it last week and it was 123 over 70.
Oh,
Yeah.
I could run around your house now and pick you up and get you home. Right?
Yeah.
So therefore, for example,
Yeah.
another 2 stone, and you'll be about 115, and that'll be like the sweet spot. That'll be like boom.
Yeah.
Right? And that's without meditation.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
There you
It's
go.
really good. Really so much better. You know, just getting out of bed in the morning. I mean, that 2 stone has made a massive difference. I remember getting out of bed in the morning and just feeling sluggish and, you know, dragging myself out. Now I kind of swing off the bed and, you know, lots of energy. It just makes a difference, complete difference. And, you know, it's like what he says to me. Imagine what it'd be like with another couple of stones, you know? Never happy. It's always a little bit more.
Who makes the coffee in the morning?
He never makes me one, and I don't make him one.
Ajay, if you're watching this, mate, you need to get up earlier, 20 minutes earlier, make your missus coffee.
That will.
It will. It will now. I've told him. It's quite
30
like
years later.
it's like a soldier. You tell him what to do and does it.
He listens to you, but he doesn't listen to me.
That's good.
And Misha listens to you.
But then, mate, you got to appreciate. Unfortunately, based on what we said earlier, when someone's coming from a close place, all you see it as is irritability. So, but the problem is, like you mentioned earlier, you're getting irritated, not at what they're saying, but you're getting irritated at yourself. But the problem is with that, for example, then you project that onto this person, and then it just becomes a war.
Yeah.
Right.
That other person.
It said, okay, look, it's going to make you a coffee tomorrow. Everyone's seen it. If he makes you a coffee tomorrow, he needs a big hug. But yeah, that's the reason. Because remember, from a different perspective, I'm new. A coach is in a neutral ground, so whatever I say is really neutral. Like I'm either going to say this is what's going to end up happening, or you're going to end up down this route. Which one do you really want? Right. So it's not the same as. That's the challenge what parents have. It's a big challenge what parents have. I mean, it's like my mum used to say to me, what's that saying? Oh, you think you know better. Then actually in reality it comes around and actually mum was right. But you won't tell your mum was right. You just brush it off. Right? So I fully get it.
You do.
But yeah. And the main thing is you started and they've joined you on your journey, right? And then obviously now they're on their own journey.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
They are. Yeah.
So if you had to leave a lasting, be your last statement to say, what would it be?
What would it be, Sam? There's so many thoughts going through my head.
Just beatbox it off.
I think beatboxing. I think the best thing that I did was joining UFIT. I don't know what journey I would have gone down if I hadn't. I don't know if my weight would have continued to climb. I don't know what my health would have been like. I think it probably would have got worse. That AJ and I would have continued on different paths in our mindset, which is quite a big statement.
That's
actually.
a big one. That's
Yeah.
a big one, because actually, in reality, if you base it on what you said about New York, if you based it on what you said about New York, both of you would have drifted.
Yeah.
So you'd have been two people in a relationship, but but friends.
He wanted one thing and I wanted the other, and I think going back to where our heads are with retirement and our future, I think we're on the right path now. We're on the same path, and I think more than anything, that's probably the biggest turnaround for me and my family. So I think, and that's all down to seeing Hannah post that little journey of hers, and making me join.
Oh, there you go.
And I wouldn't look back.
Boom. Wouldn't look back. I love that end statement. That statement is very key. We forget that. Actually, it's okay to change and doing a weight loss journey, but if you're not doing it if you're not doing it on a unified route, chances are you'll end up like that.
Yeah.
Right. But don't worry, because I've already sorted him out, and he's going to make you a coffee tomorrow, which then is going to make it even better.
Okay.
Right. So therefore, coffee every day, AJ. Every day, 7 days.
Sorry, you're cutting out, Sam.
I said he's going to make you a coffee for 7 days straight.
Every day. He won't. He won't.
You need to. Okay, here's the deal. If he don't make you a coffee for 7 days straight, you have to call him out on the insider.
I will. But I don't like the way he makes it.
Oh, for fuck's sake. AJ, abort. Don't do it. Just leave it. You can never please your missus. She's hard work. Just keep with the walking, and then that's it.
Yeah.
But Miss, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
And actually, one thing you should do is take credit and take a step back and appreciate how far you've come.
Yeah.
Right. That's the reason why I like doing these things, because some people think I'm doing these things to speak to people who have achieved them journeys or at the end, but actually no, it's not. It's about actually in giving people a perspective at each part of a journey, right? Yeah. But also more importantly for you to reflect, because actually it's important for you to reflect backwards and look at what you've done, look at how far you've come, look at what you've done, look at what you've achieved, and look at what you still need to do. Right? Yeah. And that's what this will be. Yeah. If you imagine this, if we have the conversation in 6 months' time again, this video will be a epiphany of that.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely. Yeah.
So, enjoy your day.
Thank you. You too, Sam.
And I'll enjoy mine. Later. Thank you very much. See you later. Peace out.
Bye.
Oh, P.S.
Bye.
P.S.
Yeah.
When we get back to the gym, every session is with me till Christmas.
I think Helen might have something to say about that.
I'm going to put Helen into retirement slightly earlier, and she'll be missed.
Okay, we'll see.
Boom.
Thanks, Sam.
Later. You're welcome. Bye.